Hi, and welcome to episode 44 of the Guy Who Sews podcast. My name is Sean, and this is my weekly podcast where I share my quilting adventures. I'd like to welcome both new and returning viewers to the podcast, but if you are new, I would love it if you take just a few moments to say hi in the comments so we all know we have a new friend. Where possible, any patterns, channels, or products I mention, I'll put in the description, but if you need additional assistance, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to help. But let's go ahead and get started with today's episode with our works in progress. It's been a rough week. It's been a busy week. Last weekend, my wife, myself, and our exchange student, we went up to upstate New York to go to the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, and it was a lot of fun. And you'll see more about that in the week in review. But once I came back, I contracted some sort of cold or something like that, so I didn't get a lot of sewing in, unfortunately. I did get some done yesterday. I'm very happy about that. And I was actually able to get another row of the somber quilt done, which I'm very excited about. So let me show you that real quick, and let me just make sure I have it the right way for you, everybody. So last week you saw the first two rows, and I mentioned it on the live yesterday, but this section right here is actually sideways. It should be, this darker fabric should be at the bottom, not on the sides. And after much consideration, I decided to leave it. It doesn't look bad, and you can't really tell once you put the third row on, which I'm hopefully showing you right now successfully. The colors are so similar, I just don't see the need to spend all that time pulling out my best friend Jack and seam ripping it all. It's not going into a show or anything like that, so it's just going to be a happy accident. So that's all I have with my works in progress. I do have other stuff to share later on in the podcast. But before we do that, let's go on to our week in review. And if you're new to the channel, this is just this series of video clips I put together of me sewing mostly, but sometimes we put other stuff as well. And this week I'm going to include some of the stuff from our trip as well. So it's going to be a little longer than normal, but I hope you guys enjoy, and I know a lot of you guys do enjoy this part. So let me know what you think. Well, I hope you enjoyed the week in review and the mini vlog of our trip. I had a lot of fun putting it together for you guys. Last week I asked you, in a perfect world, who you would like to see as a guest on one of my Breakfast with the Guy Who Sews lives, and I just love the responses and all the different people that you guys suggested. My intentions are to reach out to pretty much everybody on that list at some time in the near future and see if they're interested and hopefully get them to schedule with me at some point in the near future. If you do have another suggestion, always let me know. I'm always open to suggestions and love hearing from you guys in that regard, so let me know. This week's question I'm going to bring up a little later in the podcast. So the goals for last week, I had 3 goals, and considering I hadn't sewn for quite some time and I wasn't feeling well, I actually did better than I thought I would. The first one was get some more progress on the somber quilt, and I got that done. I wanted to get Clue 9 of the So Sweet Puzzle Mystery Quilt by Cotton Cuts done, and I was able to get that knocked out. The third thing on my list was another block for the Mythical Darksons. Unfortunately, that didn't get done, but you know what? 2 out of 3 is definitely a good score, especially, with the circumstances of this week. Let me know in the comments what your goals are for this week or what you've been able to achieve over this week and if you met your goals. So in case you missed it, I did have a live yesterday morning. I kind of scheduled it last minute just because of my health, and I wasn't sure if I was actually going to feel well enough to do a live. Thankfully I did, and I had a lot of fun doing that, and I did the somber quilt, and I really enjoyed chatting with everybody that was on the live with me. So if you missed that, definitely check out the replay. It's a lot of fun. And then upcoming videos, this Wednesday I'm going to put out Clue 9 of the So Sweet Puzzle Mystery Quilt by Cotton Cuts time-lapse that I normally put out. I'll probably put it out Wednesday afternoon. And then this coming Saturday morning, I'm going to have a special guest. It's going to be Donna from Handmade by Ying. And we're going to have a lot of fun just chatting and working on some whips. So definitely set your calendars for that. And we hope to see you at 8 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning for that. So mail call. I did get one piece of mail from actually the State Fair of Virginia. I reached out to them a couple of weeks ago asking about the report cards or the judge's notes from my quilts, and I am happy to say that it did show up, kind of unannounced. I wasn't expecting it. Overall, everything sounded good. There were some suggestions, basically more so with the sashing and that sort of thing there, and I'll go into more detail in a future video, which will be kind of like a review and overview of the whole process. But overall, I'm very happy to see the report and how I can improve for the next show. Since I didn't have a whole lot to share with you that I made this week, I thought I'd go back to one of my earlier videos that I did earlier in the year, where I said I wanted to have a goal of making 10 quilts for 2022. And I just wanted to take a look, since we're getting closer to the end of the year, and see how close to that goal I've reached. The first one, I wanted to do it in as chronological order as I could. The first one I did at the beginning of the year was the Rhapsody quilt, and this one was a lot of fun. This was a kit that I bought about 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm glad that the quilt top is finally done. And if you haven't seen these quilts, definitely go back and check out my earlier videos to see the progress on those. The next one is the Bear Paw quilt. Again, another kit that I bought 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm super excited that these kits are actually done. And that was one of my goals, again, for this year, was to actually finish these kits that I had bought so long ago. The third one is the As Luck Would Have It quilt. This is one that I actually won this kit from Stephanie Stitch's giveaway from Fort Worth Quilt Studios. That was a lot of fun. The next one was actually another win. I won a 3-month membership to the Java Boutiques from Cotton Cuts, and this was the actual pattern and the fabric that I got in the first month of my membership. And then I added this little crumb border myself just to make it a little bit wider, because we got to put this on a bed. So that one was a lot of fun. The next month I got more fabric from Cotton Cuts as part of my win, and this was called So Simple, and it was just a fun, quick, easy pattern as well. And then this is my dinosaur quilt that a lot of you loved, and it's going to end up going to a camp for special needs kids up in Ohio once I finish quilting that one. And then we have another charity quilt, which is my dog quilt, or stained glass, whatever you want to call it. And this is the one we started back in March with Becca on her live, and I look forward to getting that done soon so I can donate that to one of the local pet rescue groups here in my area. And then the Solar Flare quilt was another fun one, and I got a lot of new experiences to that one. And then getting up to the more recent stuff, the t-shirt quilt that I entered in the state fair, and then the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful koala quilt that I need to finish quilting and get down to my sister. And then we also have the Scrappy Diamond that you guys really enjoyed. And then finally, the breast cancer wall hanging that I need to finish up in the very near future. So that is all we have. We have a total of 2 completed quilt tops and 11 more, two completed quilts and 11 more quilt tops. And I forgot to tell you about the Sweet Treats one that's hanging up there as well. That was on the list and I totally skipped over it. So am I going to get 10 completed quilts done by the end of the year? Probably not likely. So I think I might revise this to say, let's try and get 15 quilt tops done by the end of the year, because I think that'd be a fantastic achievement. So this leads me into this week's question, since we kind of pushed it back a little bit. Which out of these has been your favorite quilt this year? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And I always love hearing your comments and interacting with you guys. And if you haven't checked out our Discord, definitely do that. If not, just leave a comment here on YouTube or send me an email. My social media links are in the description below as well. And that pretty much wraps up my episode. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode and that it was a little bit different. And we'll see you on Wednesday for our next video. And otherwise, I hope you have a great week and happy sewing. And we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.